In the light, the darkness simply disappears. I wanted to come back with another video because this Nibiru thing is not over yet. So as stated in my description, there is going to be a bit of potty talk here. And if you have a problem with that, if your religion doesn't allow you to listen to a curse word every now and again, I would suggest you click away. But this time I wanted to be a lot less of a lady. Now, I'm still looking at this whole stuff in the sky because it's still just as interesting to me as it was the first time I thought something might be there. And again, I'm not saying nothing's up there, okay? I think that we're going to have to work a whole lot harder, and we're going to have to do a lot more than look at videos. I think we're going to have to crack open some books. We're going to have to break out some telescopes and have a look at the sky for ourselves. We're going to have to learn the difference between ultraviolet and infrared and what that means. We're going to have to understand that there are applications in existence that make things look a certain way. We have to understand what lenses do. We have to understand what lights do. We have to understand the difference between refraction, reflection, the sky, the atmospheric conditions, the new things that they are doing to the skies, weather modification, climate change. There's a lot of stuff to know. And all of those things do have weight in the belief of there being something up there. But the question then becomes, what the fuck is up there? What is it? So I'm surfing around in between editing some of my other work, because I do video editing and all that stuff. In between some of that, while I'm waiting for the computer to finish rendering, I decide I'm going to surf my favorite site, YouTube, and check out some people's videos. And I run across a couple of videos out there that I had wanted to do some research on, but I just forgot. You know, I got caught up. Your girl got stuff to do, so I say I'm going to do it, and then, you know, I'm off to the next thing. But then I saw some videos, and I remembered that I had meant to do some research on this thing. And I think, you know, I know some people are going to say that I'm trolling, that I'm shill speaking, and I'm sorry if you feel that way. What I'm doing, I hope that you can see it in another way. Let me tell you how you should be looking at this. Those of us who are debunking, those of us who are pointing out and going through at least the trouble of putting together video clips, pictures, and all these things to help you understand what it is you're looking at, you should be grateful. You should be thankful. You should be thanking some of us for these things. You ain't got to thank all of us, and you don't need to thank all of us publicly. But for those of us who believe something's up there and we're doing the due diligence to do more than post a slideshow, I think you shouldn't be mad at us. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. What I'm doing is I'm showing you that maybe some things are not as they appear. And maybe that can free up your time and your energy and your curiosities so that you can move on to the next topic to study. Because there's a lot that has to be studied. And one person cannot do all of it. So since one person cannot do all of it, as a collective, we should be getting a little bit closer together so we can share information. And whether that information is to the detriment of one's videos and beliefs, or whether it's to the benefit of another's, I think it all is an important part of the collective, okay? But what I have a problem with is when we continue to focus on the exact same shit. So I'm new to this, all right? I'm new to this whole Nemesis, Nibiru, whatever the fuck it could be. I don't know. I'm new to it. And I stumbled upon it because I wanted to find out what was going on with my camera. What was going on with my shots that it changed? And what could I do as a photographer to capture a simple shot that was now a problem? And along that way, I heard people say, hey, it's a planet. It's something coming in. It's an asteroid. It's angelic. It's evil. Who knows? And that was curious to me. I gotta admit, I was drawn in because I'm a woman and I love good entertainment. And the entertainment started to have a little bit of a connection to a possibility. And that had my attention like a good soap opera. But I like science. I like being scientific about things. I love doing research. I enjoy data. That's my thing. As a photographer, I love capturing beautiful landscapes because there's so much information in a picture. Hell, there's a lot of information in a picture. What's that famous saying? A picture speaks 1,000 words. Probably speaks 1,000,000. Maybe it speaks only a couple of hundred. Who knows? But you and I can look at one image and we can see two different things. And that's the beauty of interpreting things that are artistic. But I've noticed that people on YouTube and a lot of other places have a thirst and a lust for death. You can't deny that. We do. And that's why people are drawn in droves to certain videos and certain images, especially regarding this Nibiru topic. I think a lot of people who are diehards about this are really, this is just one extension of a thirst for an ending. Some people are just really attracted to thoughts of disaster, calamity, people hurting. If it wasn't true, the world wouldn't be in the situation it is in right now, would it? Of course it wouldn't be. We would all want to see each other happy and doing well. That's not the case. But what is the case? It's a lot of deception, misdirection, a lot of information being put out with no backup, no research. And when research is done, it is cast aside because it doesn't fit that person's narrative. So let's discuss the narrative of Nibiru in one or two of its extremities. One extremity you're looking at on screen right now is the famous dot in the sky that a lot of channels have shown from a site called Addicted Sports Online. We've all seen this link. These beautiful photography on a webcam. I don't know what kind of webcam this is, but this is just beautiful. It's clear most of the time. For a camera that's stuck in one spot, it's clear. What can I say, man? It's a great shot. And it's such a big sized shot. So a lot of channels have chosen to focus on it. I've featured this shot as well. I featured this site in some of my videos. And quite frankly, it is just a beautiful photo. They're just great images, high quality. So a lot of channels have been focusing on what they believe to be plasma energy. Plasma energy coming from Nibiru, Nemesis, Wormwood, the Great Destroyer, the Planet X that's just outside of somewhere close to us and we can't see it. So a lot of people are saying that this dot that you're looking at is a distraction, it is a distraction. You're distracted, aren't you? A lot of people are saying that this is some type of shadow of an actual planet. So let me show you what this is. Let's be honest now. That's a spider web. That's a spider web. And what do spiders do all day? I mean, they don't talk on the phone all day. They're not texting. They ain't watching YouTube. They're not having barbecues. They're not doing any of that stuff. They're doing spider shit. can see right here in the video, the spider's doing spider shit. Look at him. Look at him go. He's doing spider stuff. Now, I wanted to show you guys what spider webs look like, what they do. I think nobody's even thinking about this. And I think a lot of the channels that are pointing this out to you are completely leaving out the fact that what you're looking at could be a shot taken through a spider web. And I heard it mentioned by somebody who doesn't know that much about photography. I could tell from their commentary. Someone said in one of their videos that if it was a spider, you would see it clearly. That's not true. So there's something in photography called a fixed focus. It's a fixed focus. Your cell phone does it too. You know, when you for iPhone users, I don't know about the rest of y'all's phones, but for iPhone users, if you tap your screen, you can acquire focus in a shot. But if you tap and hold, your auto exposure will lock, your focus will lock, and your image is set, and you can take a picture without having to worry about any motion blur or any of that stuff like that, unless you completely move your body. But everything locks and your camera's not shifting around looking for focus, which can also create a blurry picture. Okay. I wanted to give you guys a video here too where you could check out what it looks like when the spider is, again, doing what he does. He's doing spider shit, making a web. And if you look real good, you can see how, even in a black and white shot, how the light interacts with the spider web. Now, there's probably a light coming off the house somewhere, in addition to the appearance of light that comes when you are using an infrared video camera, like a lot of nighttime night vision cameras have infrared. And the infrared adds light to the shot while it's, oftentimes altering the colors that you could see there. It's black and white, but sometimes that infrared camera can add a lot of light and allow for night vision to occur. Now, if you want to know more about that, you can Google that stuff. But if you look, you can see the spider doing his thing. You don't see detail, do you? The spider is a blur. But what's focused and what is in shot, what's clear and crisp, is the birdhouse far out in the shot there. Okay? That is what a fixed focus does. It focuses on one particular area that you choose. Or if you buy a lens with a fixed focus, it can only go so far. So you choose by choosing that type of lens. And those lenses do certain things. And if you have a zoom on your camera, you can focus in on something, lock it there, thereby creating a fixed focus for any shot or video. It can be a beautiful shot to use. In filming, they call it sometimes a dirty single, where you see one person in focus and then maybe the person in back is out of focus, or vice versa, and it kind of sets a mood, or can show you someone entering the scene, or can show you activity happening behind the person that is clear and crisp in the shot. Okay? Blah, blah, whatever. No one cares about that, right? Because it's a big planet coming in and it's going to eat us. And they're big spiders. Right. Now, I hope we're clear on this Nibiru dot in the sky that's kicking it occasionally, comes in for a few minutes and disappears out of the shot. All the way back as far as 2014 on the Addicted Sports webcams, you can, if you got enough patience, you can sift through and see glimpses of this spider web. Okay? And you can see the spider web at certain times and not at others. This is because of the fixed focus, not capturing a see-through clear spider web. Okay? It's silk. But when the light hits it correctly and proper like, you can see the web. They even look like sparks and streams going across the picture. You could see that. Okay? while other channels are going to call this something extraterrestrial. That's ET coming in on a rocket ship. I don't know, man, but it's not Nibiru, okay? It's not. You know what it is? It's the spider and his food. It's sitting there. You're looking at a little lump that he spun over. That's his lunch, and he's coming back for that. And if you donate into these channels who are telling you that that's Nibiru reacting with plasma, them channels is eating your lunch, okay? Them channels are the spiders that got you caught up in the web, and they're eating your lunch. So let's do better, people. Let's do some due diligence. When you hear these things and they're interesting, it really, if you have 15 minutes to listen to that mumbo jumbo, then take another 15 minutes and Google it. Look up the exact same stuff that they're showing you. Go backwards and forwards on the time lapse when they're giving you links to stuff that they're looking at. Do better. There is some questionable stuff in the sky. 100% there is. We all know there is. But for the new people who are coming to this, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to anybody, especially to young kids who are turning this shit on and are seeing this. Okay? You're turning this on and you're seeing somebody talking about a planet coming in, and they're using scientific words and they're calling it this, that, and the other, and they're linking it to stuff, and they're not doing better. What they're doing is putting fear in you. So fear is great to have in a movie theater for a good movie, but before we have fear for this topic, let's get to know more about it. Let's get to know what's real and what's not. And I'm upset. I'm saddened that people are selling this fear and got people donating to it. When, if the fear factor is good enough, don't forget these channels can make money off of monetizing their channels. They throw a little commercial at you, and their traffic they can use to get a check from Google AdSense. Please look that up. There's also a site called Social Blade, and you can look up your favorite channels and see who's making money off of it. That'll help you maybe before you break bread on somebody telling you a planet's coming in when all it is a fucking spider web. Okay? It's a spider web with food in it. Spider web is eating good. Don't let these motherfuckers be feeding you bullshit. Now, I did some more research because I'm still looking, okay? I want to know as much as I can before I get bored with it. Does anything like named Nemesis or Nibiru, do these things exist? Does it exist in any form whatsoever? Now, if you're curious to go further than this spider and you want to dig deep too, that's great. Let's do that. Let's get off of the spider web in the sky and take this energy that you have right now. Because if you're new to this, you got this fresh energy. You got this fresh energy to know more. And you want to share. That's beautiful. Please do that. Because you help all of us. Let's get off the spider web and look at the real that's happening out there. Let's, again, grab a telescope. Buy one, invest this money, and they're not even that expensive, but let's start looking at the skies. It's beautiful. We need to stare at the spider web, though. So I had to look it up and see, is there really a nemesis? Does one actually exist? And it does. There is a nemesis. And people have spoken of Nemesis many times regarding different things. So the first mention I find of Nemesis, again, Google. May not be our friends, but it's got information there we can use, okay? So we've got Nemesis. Nemesis, appropriately named after the Greek goddess of retribution, she whom none can escape. Yep, look that up. Now, there is a Nemesis theory, originally published 1987. According to the Nemesis theory, the sun has a companion star called the Nemesis. Okay. They believe that this companion star exists in the Oort cloud and orbits around the sun. And if you never heard of the Oort cloud, it's OORT. And the Oort cloud is known as like a comet belt that goes around the sun, orbits the sun, whatever. It is thought that the gravitational field of the Nemesis causes some comets to stray from their normally stacked orbit. It is believed that those comets hit the Earth, causing varying levels of global extinction. Devastating effects like acid rain, deep freeze, ozone loss. The comet showers would last anywhere from 100,000 years, with approximately 10 impacts occurring in intervals of 50,000 years between each impact. Now, in order to consider the Nemesis theory, you have to accept the notion that mass extinctions have occurred periodically. I think we do accept that, right? So then I said, okay, let's keep digging. Now that I found a couple of connections, let's check out what NASA might have to say about this. So I'll let you guys have a little look at some of what I found. Now, if you find a site called the Minor Planet Center, they list all of the bodies around us, around everywhere, that they've been able to track and keep tabs on and list. And there indeed is a Nemesis. If you want to skip through going through that site, because it really is like there's a lot. You can Google 128 Nemesis. Now, if you do that, it'll probably lead you to some other NASA affiliated websites like JPL, where they show the elliptical or the orbits, whether certain things exist at all. You can find information on asteroids, planets, comets, sun, the moon. There's just a big treasure trove of information there from people who sit around staring at this stuff all day. Okay? So what you're looking at right now is the orbit of Nemesis. 128 Nemesis. And if you watch it spinning around here, this is the orbit. You want to look over in the bottom left-hand corner. You can see the distance that Nemesis is from the sun and the earth. To the right, you can see the dates. On the right-hand side at the bottom of the screen, you can see the dates. And scrolling down, I'm going to show you a little bit about how you read this site should you go there. Be aware that you are going to have to download a script known as Java, which isn't very fun for PC computers, I hear. It's not always fun for my computer either. It's a very intense program that can bug your computer later on. So do that with caution. Don't do it on your most important computer, okay? If you have multiple computers. But you can see from the orbit that thing's not anywhere near us. Okay? And this is the Nemesis Wormwood that people are talking about. It's not really, not even paying attention to us. It's like the spider doing its own thing. So then I said, okay, I'm going to keep looking. I don't see anything flying in at us so far. Where did this stuff start? Where did this talk of Wormwood begin? Oh, yeah. Church. The Bible. Now, I'm not about to go all anti-religion on y'all. I'm not. But if you study the Bible and you think everything that you read in that Bible really happened, well, good for you. Good for you. Yay. You have an awesome imagination. You just have an awesome imagination. If you read the Bible and you don't question King Henry, you don't question the author, you don't question how many different translations that book went through, you don't question any of that. If you just read it and that's it, and you close the book and you believe what you're being told in the church, and you don't question any of that, you don't question the messenger ever. If you just walk blindly and in faith of your blindness, then kudos to you. That is awesome. Ignorance is bliss. It is. It truly is. Because I was really happy when I was ignorant of Nibiru and Nemesis and Wormwood. I was actually happy when I didn't know about this. Now I know about it and I'm like, hey, yay, oh, this is great. I'm learning something. Oh, that person's lying. That person's just robbing people. Well, why are you saying all these horrible things? Why are you talking about God and telling people to pray? But then, like, your next video, you spend like 30 minutes bashing other people because they question your knowledge. Who else does that? So, unfortunately, I don't want to walk blindly because, unless you have a lot of training walking blindly and a lot of experience walking blindly, you may find yourself walking into a wall or off the edge of a cliff with false information. So I'm just sharing what I've learned along the way, okay? Don't be mad at me. If this is religious to you and has grown into a religion to you, that's awesome. Run, Forrest, run. But for those of you who do want to study this further, who do want some confirmation that we're all not crazy, some of us are actually, a little crazy, but we're going to go search out the answers. I hope that this video helps you take one more step in a direction that allows you to put your energy towards finding more answers. Maybe it helps you put away some scary thoughts that were creeping you out, because I think, again, there may be young people listening to this listening to some of the people who make these scary videos, and they go back and they look at one or two pictures that are being linked to or talked about, and they don't think to do any further research because they trust what that person is saying. And shit, don't trust me. Don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm showing you pictures of stuff that I was able to find with Google searches. And this is what I hope that you will do also before taking someone's word as gospel. Don't make it your gospel until you know who's preaching the sermon to you. Just be careful. Everything isn't as fantastic as it looks, Everything isn't as extraterrestrial as it looks. Some of this has an explanation. A lot of it has a logical explanation. So, Hope you guys aren't too upset with your girl. I had to unload on this one because once I saw the video from a certain other person, I was like, you know what? I got to speak on this because that is bullshit. Please do a extensive search on YouTube and see how long people have been talking about this planet coming in. People have been talking about this for a long time. And I'm not saying that there isn't something flying in our direction. There's a ton of astronomy apps that you can get right on your phone. And you can see in real time, like, how much stuff is flying around right now at any given point. You can go to, there's a lot of disaster websites, and you can go see how many asteroids fly past us all the time. Our Earth is a wonderful place that could be so much better, but it's got a little protective barrier on the outside, several layers of it, in fact. And oftentimes it stops us from getting out, and it oftentimes stops stuff from getting in. So I think you got to learn about that stuff in addition to climate change and what we're doing to the Earth that can be affecting the vision of what is overhead, as well as in my last video where I'm showing, like, there's a lens defect, yo. You might want to check this out just for your camera before you run around to your friends and your neighbors going, oh my God, look at this thing. You don't want to look crazy if it turns out that that's just a flare. You don't want to look crazy to your neighbors and your friends if it turns out that that was just a spider web and a bug that was out of focus and blurry and red because maybe the light is shining through the spider's body and that's just the color of the light due to all of the surrounding light or the lack thereof that's making the spider that color. Maybe the spider caught some food that was red. There's red bugs, you know. There's purple bugs. There's bugs that could be any color in the light. Unless we're sitting around holding bugs up in the light, you don't know. So before we all run around talking about the sky is falling, let's at least try to debunk some of this stuff that's being presented as fact. Be very careful of the killer slideshow. Unless that's your get off. Unless you get off on the idea of a catastrophic ending for everyone. Well, I don't want that. So if you are romanticizing us being killed by a big rock, well, that's fucked up. You should get off YouTube and go outside and plant some flowers or get a puppy. Buy a cat. Buy a plant. Do something that feels good and warm on the inside because we need you here. If you have this type of attention, we need your focus to go out there and find the real shit. But the spider web's not it. Alright? It's a spider web. Fuck the dumb shit. It's a spider web. It really, really legit is a spider web. And let's keep in mind that when we're looking at webcams that are up high in a tree or at the top of a building, come on, man. I don't like bugs. I hate bugs. Spiders are icky. But spiders don't, spiders don't care about your camera angle. Spiders don't care about your shot. Spiders don't care that you're trying to look at the webcam of the ocean. He's doing his thing. And while we're talking about these creepy bugs, remember, some spiders want that warmth. And when the moon is hitting the lens and it's bouncing back, or the sun is hitting the lens and bouncing back, it's probably kicking off some heat that the spider actually might be enjoying. And that the flicker of the lens draws the bug near because the bug is flying by and he's like, hey, what's that bright light? What is that? Is that a tunnel? And before you know it, he hits the web. So the spider has picked out a good location. He's got prime location to catch some bugs at. That spot works for him, right in front of that lens. Okay? He's caught the bug. The bug squirms for a little while, but that camera only takes one picture every 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? So you don't see the bug struggle before he dies. You don't see the struggle. You don't see his pain. You You cannot empathize with him. You see 2 or 3 still shots before he is gone, off to bug heaven. And then the spider comes back and the spider wraps a little web around him so nobody messes with his food. And then maybe he goes to the spider mall or something. Maybe he goes to go wash his spider car. Maybe he goes for a spider tune-up at the Jiffy Lube for spider cars. I don't know what the spider does. But then he comes back later and he has lunch and he eats it. And then it's gone. And your spider web is clear and your shot's clear. Making a lot of people say stuff like, it was here, Nibiru was here, and it's rotating around the planet. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a spider web. And he went out to go do his thing at his other web or go visit his spider girlfriend. Whatever he did, he went off to go do his thing. And he'll be back when it's another bug, okay? And if he don't come back, but a bug shows up, another spider might be checking out his pad. And then he comes over and gets that bug before the original homeowner comes back. I'm just saying. This Nibiru is a spider. And all of the anomalies around the web, all of the light, all of the streaking must be attributed to the web. As light reflects, as light refracts, as it lightens up, as it is colorized by all of the light sources that come in contact with it. Any light source that points in its direction, whether it's a direct spotlight or an ambient light, all colors can be bounced off of a web. This shit you can find on Google. So, let's all be done with that and move on to actual stuff we should be worried about. Y'all be good now. Peace.